The NAFTA Podcast.
Sometimes it may be good, sometimes it may be shit.
Episode 60, NAFTA Podcast. We are back. It is just Michael and myself. Dylan traveling back from the great state of Utah, I believe. And NAFTA listeners, apparently, keep Nick Tucker's worldly possessions in your T's and P's, because he was dealing with some fiery shit, apparently, at his apartment. So, at the very least, their team got a win today. Winning in 9. Shout out to the Red Bank Regional Bucks.
The Bucks.
Pirates? Pucks or the Pirates?
I think they're the Buccaneers, right?
Yeah, right. Big Bucks, guys.
I know the feeling, Nick. A house or an apartment right next to mine a year ago got fucking swatted. They literally broke the door down.
Oh, swatted.
Yeah.
I was thinking of more Anthony Davis, a Steph Curry type swatted, but you were talking about, police officer swatted.
Yeah, like the police force swatted.
Yeah. Okay. So it's just Michael and I, as you can hear. Michael.
Yeah.
Crazy week, Premier League. How you feeling?
Feel pretty good.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Liverpool's on the surge. Liverpool's on the rise.
We got a chance.
We are saying there is a chance.
Yeah.
Wild last day. We mentioned it. 25 some odd goals. We're going to talk about that in a little bit as well.
I don't think it was actually 25. It was a lot, though.
Bro, it's 20, right?
It's close. It's up there.
Let's see. 7 Nottingham Forest, Southampton. 8 Leicester City, Fulham.
15. It's 21.
It's 20. 21.
What's 9 plus 10? 21.
Big goals. And I think for the most part, we're getting a clearer picture at the bottom of the table for sure. We're obviously getting a clearer picture at the top as well. I think there's 2 little matchups that are going to hinge on both of these areas, and we're going to chat about that. First, we are recording this at 8:10 p.m. on Tuesday night, Tuesday, May 9th. So that means that Man City and Real Madrid have finished first leg in the Bernabeu. Michael and I essentially kind of watched it together. You watched more of the second half. I was suffering through it the entire time with Josie. One thing I gotta say is I made Josie a Man City scarf to wear out of a uniform. I sewed it together. I cut it out of an old company kit I had, sewed it up, goes around the collar. It's been a good luck charm the entire time. Couldn't find it. Just couldn't find it. Therefore, just was looking everywhere, couldn't find it. Therefore, I had to use a Etsy purchase from 2 years ago. Not as good a quality, old logo, which arguably better, but old logo. And I know you say all the time, I have no bearing on how those games end up and the results, but I know for a fact that was the reason we didn't win.
I think, first of all, you don't know that Etsy supplier now. Maybe they up their game. Don't call their quality bad. We stand Etsy.
I love Etsy, but I'm saying the fact that it was the old logo, I think, was bad juju.
I see. That's pretty cool. I didn't know you actually sewed or made a jersey or a bandana for her out of a kit. That's pretty tight.
Hey, listen, I contain layers.
I did say to you during the game, it was not the 91st minute with 3 minutes extra, and I said the last time I was on the phone with you for a Man City Real Madrid game, it was just about this time where your world collapsed.
Yeah.
And right when that happened, I think was the Tchouaméni shot that Everton saved, and I was like, oh shit.
Tchouaméni with an absolute just piss missile at the top of the box.
He fired that.
Ederson diving to his left, had to save it with his right hand, kind of a backhand save. Look, I listened to the Jack Grealish interview afterwards. He said that it was fair, the result. Love Jack Grealish, great football player, as I say on this podcast. often. Maybe don't agree with that fully. I think Liverpool. Shit. I think Real Madrid were the better team for a good portion of that game. I know that the Bernabeu is the harder place to play, so we got that out of the way. But they're coming to the Etihad. I'll take all jokes coming my way after I say this. It's not Anfield. It's not St. James Park. It's not the Bernabeu. It's not the Roman Pizjuan, as my buddies at Sevilla like to call it. I'm sure they don't call it that. But, it 1-1. De Bruyne saved us. We gave up a goal to Vinny. The Real Madrid goal was straight FIFA. It was one touch shot. And I was telling you that it's crazy getting to see this level of play because when City plays Leeds at the week, you're waiting for a Leeds mistake so that you can score. They happen often. You're going to get a lot of opportunities. And for this one, it was more like, can we actually create anything? And we struggled to definitely create. So
yeah, we were talking a little bit. Like I said, I think you agreed. Like at least in argument, Modric could probably be the best midfielder of our generation, maybe ever. I mean, he's just unbelievable.
Yeah.
Cruz, not bad. I mean, really fucking good. Valverde, really good and young. And then you literally have Camavinga basically doing that inverted thing too, walking into the midfield. He's crazy at left back. But you said there's nobody with the ball at their feet that scares you more than Benzema. And I said they have two of the scariest people with the ball at their feet, and that's Vinny too, man. Vinny is crazy. Kyle Walker did a pretty good job the couple times I saw, like 1v1.
Yeah.
Kyle Walker is a great 1v1 defender, maybe the best ever.
Yeah, he's no Aaron Wan-Bissaka, let's be honest here.
Come on. There was a fire, man. Stop. I will say, though, that is... I'm a known hater of the character of the player.
Yep.
Not of his skills. That was the worst I've ever seen Bernardo Silva play.
Yeah. Bad game by Bernardo. Honestly, you could probably argue difficult game for Gundogan. Difficult game for De Bruyne. They did a really, really good job at giving City zero space to create, zero space to do anything on the wing. We also mentioned when I was talking to you, like, it's wild. The average age of the Madrid midfield is 75. But how they play...
Not the average age.
No, I meant the joke.
Oh, you're just saying they're old.
Yeah.
That's like I thought you didn't divide it, is what I'm trying to say.
No, I'm glad that you're up and ready to go for this pod.
I'm a math guy.
Yeah, for sure. Listen, what we said though is those dudes are so old and they're not athletic. They are, but they're not workhorses anymore. They're not thoroughbreds. They don't beat you for pace. They don't do that. But how Ancelotti has his team set up, they don't have to. And it's really interesting to watch just because they got Vinny, they got Rodrigo, and they got Benzema. And then what really, you called it. I was so pissed. You mentioned the Tchouaméni shot. You called it. He comes in the game, and I go, shit, this scares me because now in the midfield they do have someone who's
gonna run
and has fresh legs. And you're like, yeah, I mean, it just reminds me of like when he came in and scored the goal in the World Cup, and I was like, Michael, what are you trying to do here, dude? And of course he got the shot. Look, I'm interested in your predictions. 1-1, I think we were great to have that. Like, we were fortunate to have that scoreline. We got outplayed a little bit. What do you think's happening in the second leg?
I've said it over and over and over on this pod. Look at the sweatshirt. Look at this, the picture, the Firmino here. We have been fucked by this team so many times. I will never, until they lose one, I'm not picking against them. I've been burnt too much.
Yeah.
So I listen. This is the one time though. Well, unless you play United, that I want you to win. I do, and I want you to lose to whatever Milan team. But I can't pick against them, dude. It's impossible.
Smart money, I think, is where you're at. I obviously have to back my guys. I'm hoping a 2-0 win at the Etihad. One thing I did want to say, I don't know if you caught the Rooney comments. I think he was being a little cheeky with us. He said, Man City will not beat Real Madrid. They will blow them away. That obviously didn't happen. So
I think Rooney might be a little bit of like a Prem homer, though.
For sure, but I think he also trolled a little bit.
I also think, like, and again, this is not to... It's one of those things where, like, they keep getting older, so you continuously go, okay, it's almost, like, now has to be when they're done, right?
Yeah.
Has to be the point. And, like, that's, to your point, like, you're talking about the midfield, they're not like, there's not a Genie Wijnaldum right there. Like, Genie was running. Like, he was in on every tackle. That was his job, right? They're the definition of, like, work smarter, not harder. Like,
sure,
Modric will take everybody out of the play with one touch a certain direction when he gets the ball. And that's like, we're not saying they're not athletic, they're not good in that context. They're insane that they can still be this good at 30 whatever.
Yeah, and I think next year, watch out. Just because if that midfield then becomes Valverde, Tchouaméni, and Bellingham.
And then Camavinga, maybe.
Yeah,
and,
but I think...
And Modric is there in one more year.
I think if he buys into it, having Camavinga at that left back position is such a weapon. It's crazy. Yeah. It's kind of like what our teams have been doing lately. So, I got to back City. I'm going 2-0. Hopefully we get a dub. Great news for Everton. No subs for City this game. So
it's always so weird.
Yeah. I think he just knew we were going to get a draw and didn't want to put anyone else out there. And now he's keeping all the other tricks he has up his sleeve. Also, first game that the Stones in the midfield just wasn't really an impact. Just didn't really work.
Yeah. I said, last thing on this for me at least, I said there's so many times where every pass they make is purposeful and you see what's happening. You see what's happening, like, as the pass is going, you're like, oh, shit. Wide open space. Oh, that guy's wide open. Oh, he's going to turn, whatever. And you guys, I only watched the second half, but in the second half, you guys were just, it seemed like you guys were just passing just to do it.
Just to hold on to the ball.
Yeah.
Just so they didn't have it. Yeah.
It was just kind of frustrating. It would have been very frustrating for me, for sure.
I think the announcer said best that Madrid looked more comfortable without the ball than City did. Yeah. Perfect example of the goal. I call it a FIFA goal, but it's quite literally like, you can see where the next pass is going to go, and it's just hitting triangle. You're just through ball, shot. All right. The Milan derby tomorrow will be interesting to see who wins that one. I'm sure when we jump on the pod Thursday, we'll have some answers there. Mm-hmm. Let's dive into the Premier League match week. We kick it off with Bournemouth 1, Chelsea 3. Conor Gallagher in the 9th minute opens the scoring. Vigna got one back for Bournemouth in the 21st. We hit halftime. Badiashile in the 82nd has Chelsea up 2-1. And then João Felix gets a goal in the 86th to give Chelsea all 3 points in a 3-1 win. City 2, Leeds 1. Gundogan in the 19th and the 27th gave City a 2-0 lead. He then was gifted a penalty by Erling Haaland in the 84th, missed it, and Rodrigo basically took the ball down the field and got the consolation goal for Leeds. 2-1 win for City. Tottenham 1, Palace 0. Harry Kane in stoppage time of the first half with the lone goal here. Hodgson played him tough, but Tottenham with all 3 points. Shout out to Dylan. Like I said, traveling. Wolves 1, Villa 0. Midlands derby. Totti Gomes with a big goal in the 9th minute. Wolves all 3 points here. Critical 3 points. He even texted us as soon as the last whistle blew and said, "See you fuckers next year. Wolves are safe." Love
Let's
it.
go.
Liverpool 1, Brentford 0. Salah the lone goal in the 13th minute. Said it was a boring game. I'm sure we'll get a little insight, but boring game. Newcastle 0. Arsenal 2. Michael, you were the only person that had Arsenal getting all 3 points in our predictions. Odegaard in the 14th minute and then a Fabian Schär goal in the 71st were the two that Arsenal picked up. They got all 3 points, 2-0 win, and a clean sheet. Apparently, I think I went back and watched some of the highlights. Ramsdale on top of his head, just save after save after save in this one.
Yeah.
Now we get to the big score lines we talked about. Fulham 5, Leicester City 3. Willian on a direct free kick in the 10th minute, which is a hilarious clip if you haven't seen it yet. Vinicius in the 18th, 2-0 for Fulham so far. Tom Kearney makes it 3 in the 44th. Tom Kearney again in the 51st after halftime makes it 4-0. Harvey Barnes got one back in the 59th. Then Jamie Vardy missed a pen in the 66th. Willian got his second goal in the 70th to have Fulham up 5-1. And then late in the game, Madison with a pen in the 81st makes it 5-2. And then Harvey Barnes in the 89th minute, 5-3. Leicester put up a fight after halftime. Their fans were chanting, "You don't deserve to wear the shirt," but still came up a bit short. All 3 points for Fulham.
Damn,
and then,
I did not know that.
yeah, social media was going ballistic on that one. Forest 4, Southampton 3. Awani in the 18th minute gives Forest a 1-0 win. He doubles up in the 21st. Carlos Alcaraz scores for Southampton in the 25th, 2-1. Morgan Gibbs-White, our favorite ex-Wolves player, Michael and I, in the 44th minute, takes Forest up 3-1. Leonco in the 51st gets Southampton 1 back. It is 3-2. Danilo with the goal in the 73rd, assisted by Morgan Gibbs-White. 4-2 Forest. And then the last goal was a James Ward-Prowse penalty in stoppage time. Big 3 points for Forest. Essentially, and we've been saying it for weeks, but all but relegates Southampton after that result. It was kind of Southampton's last gasp, last effort to stay up. But I'm pretty sure they're done. Michael, those are the fly-throughs. We got 2 more we're going to spend a little bit more time on. Let's start at the top. Bournemouth and Chelsea. Tell you what.
It was fun while it lasted.
You love getting the shit on Chelsea as much as possible. And the one thing I will say is that João Felix goal was his 3rd one of the season. He's played in 13 games, which means that he still costs so far Chelsea more than $1 million per game to play. And about $5 million per goal. So
just about, yeah.
You know, can't give Chelsea any flowers here. We're gonna still shit on them.
Oh, I mean, yeah. If you didn't think I was gonna say something about that, I mean, this 3-1 is not reflective of the game because, like, right before they scored the second goal, Bournemouth basically had one in. It got cleared kind of like off the line. Could have easily been 2-1 Bournemouth, and then, given how this Chelsea team has been playing, the heads probably drop. Probably like, what the fuck? What's the point? You know, whatever. And then we're sitting in a situation where they lost, first manager to start 0-7.
Yeah.
Right?
No,
that'd been pretty funny.
Yeah, it would have been hilarious. I mentioned this to you while we were watching the City Madrid game. I'm sure Rudiger wanted to leave on his own. The fact that Chelsea had Rudiger last year, was it 2 years ago? Last year, yeah. And he's gone. He's the best player on this team.
If you went to Chelsea?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, 100%.
He was super tough, super impressive in that game, and I was watching. I was like, how did Chelsea, all the money they spent, they couldn't have just thrown a couple extra dollars his way to keep him?
I would say, dude, I think listen, I have no way of knowing this.
Yeah.
But I don't, if they were like, fine, go, we'll find somebody else, that's crazy. If he was like, I don't want to come back.
We got Koulibaly, bro. We're going to be fine.
Yeah. They have literally 3 of the worst, like, I would say 3 of the top 5 worst signings this year.
Oh, I think that's being generous. I think they might have 4 or 5.
Well, Richarlison's 1.
Richarlison, you mean top 5? Okay, so Richarlison, Tottenham,
the top 5 worst signings. They have 3 of them, in my opinion.
True.
Off the top of my head.
Yeah. City 2, Leeds 1. Gundogan was quality in this one. Like I said,
He was quality.
kind of stunk it up against Madrid today, but
Did it work out?
top tier. I know that Pep kind of freaked out about the penalty thing. What's your take on this? He's on a hat trick, and Haaland gives him the ball. He ends up missing the pen, and Pep goes on in post game about 2-0. The Premier League's not over.
Was it the 84th minute?
Twas.
I mean, I think if I'm correct, the year we beat Arsenal, that Firmino got a hat trick. I think it was 4-1 we finished, and it was 3-1, and Salah, they had a penalty, and Salah gave it to him so he could get the hat trick.
Yeah.
So it's kind of the same situation, and I don't think it was as late as the 84th, but I'm not sure. Listen, man, I don't care. I guess like you have rules. Obviously, you have like ways of doing it. He doesn't say anything if he makes it.
No.
Just because he missed.
This is quite literally the worst case scenario. He misses the pen, and then we concede a goal a minute later. So,
Yeah, I mean, listen, that's the only scenario in which he's mad about it.
Yeah, for sure. Shout out to Gundo, though. 2 goals. They're nice goals, too. He did a great job. Spurs with a 1-0 win.
Oh, wait, hold on. Fuck Haaland. He was on my fantasy team. I needed him to score that.
Yeah, exactly.
That's
exactly.
bullshit.
I knew you'd find the answer sooner or later.
So,
The Hodgson miracle, the Hodgson magic is gone a little bit. They're not getting these dubs anymore, but he did his job.
yeah, they're
And
fine.
They're up. They're going to stay up.
They're 12th.
They're 12th. Yeah. Great point.
They hit 13th. They brought him in. He got him to 12th. They're like spot on.
Yeah, thank you, sir.
Good shit.
But I'm really hoping that they are starting to look for their next coach. Because I like when Palace is good, except for when they play City. So that's how I don't. Like we mentioned before, big one for Wolves. Blip. I mean, maybe not a blip. I was for sure thinking Villa was going to get Europe, and now I don't know if that's true.
I think it's a little bit bit off a little bit more than they could chew. They're just kind of running cold right now.
Yeah.
Unfortunately.
Brighton, Tottenham, Liverpool are the teams on the outside of Champions League still in Europe, and I just kind of don't see them catching any of those 3 anymore. And I think those are going to be your 3 teams that are in Europa and in conference, or maybe sneak in a Champions League spot, Michael. We're going to talk about this?
I'll tell you, dude. Villa on even games with the Spurs.
Yep.
Who does Villa have? I think Villa's schedule's kind of tough, though, at the end. They play Spurs at home.
That'll be a big one.
So they can literally get the goal difference and everything. The goal difference is like 7-3. So like a 2-point win, gets down to goals for. I don't know what that is like. They do play us at Anfield, and then they have Brighton on the last day. So if they win all those games, those are the 3 teams ahead of them. They could, in theory, shoot up the table. But I think they're a little bit like, they had their surge, and I think they're a little gassed now.
I don't know. I don't think you discount Unai being able to go in that locker room and saying, look, boys, we want to play Ferencváros next year. We want to play Young Boys. We want to play Karabag. Let's get into the conference.
Come on, boys.
Let's play Ghent. Let's play Genk.
Does he still have the big teeth? Because he got the veneers too.
Always. I think veneers
Let's go.
Veneers on European soccer coaches is a given if they're at a certain age anymore.
Yeah.
65, 55 and older European coach, it's like 98% from the field on veneers.
For sure.
Pretty sure.
I don't know why. What's the next game? The next game we're talking about?
Liverpool.
Oh shit. Let's not. It was boring.
Well, I want to know. Are
Okay.
you in? No, are you in the Champions League?
We're gonna do that now.
Oh,
We got to talk about the result with United, right?
All right, we'll hold on to it.
Yeah.
Good call. We'll hold on to it.
Let me just talk about the game.
Okay.
Great to have a clean sheet.
Always.
Ali, some great saves.
Always.
Trent again was great, even though he didn't get an assist. I think Klopp said after the game that we're tired of shit. We're knackered, is I think what
Yeah.
his exact words were. So I think we have 9 days.
Properly knackered.
Yeah, I think we have 9 days between that and like our next game, which is good.
Yep.
Man, I think it was a good performance. I think we could have scored a lot more, but I think Brentford they didn't really offer much resistance, to be honest. Like they didn't have a lot going forward, so
Yeah.
it was pretty boring.
Let me play a quick game with you.
Okay.
18, 8, and 9. That's your record right now.
Mm-hmm.
You got 62 points. Anyone other than Allison in goal.
All right.
What's your record? How many points you got?
12, 10, and 13. Take away
That
6
math-
wins, 2 draws, and 4 losses.
Okay. All right. Because I was going to say that math didn't check out there, bud.
It did.
All right.
I'm the math guy.
Anyway. So, damn. 6. You're taking away 6 wins.
So 12, 10, and 13.
12, 10, 13.
So that's
Yeah.
46 points.
Yikes. You and Chelsea would be hanging out.
We'd be ahead though, right?
For sure.
Yes. Let's go.
Always that. Shout out to Allison, though. Player of the year for Liverpool, without a
For
doubt.
sure.
Easily.
100%.
Newcastle, Arsenal. We should have just kept betting Arsenal. I don't know why. I got enamored by Newcastle. I don't know why I was enticed by the other oil baron team here. They were playing really, really well. But Arsenal were just better. And I think they were. I mean, there's a lot of attacks coming from Newcastle. Ramsdale played really, really well. But again, I think next year Arsenal's probably back in the same position they are this year, challenging for the title. And these are games that if you're challenging for the title, you're going to win. And they did. But I do think it's really exciting to have Newcastle this good, I think. Honestly.
Yes. I think, again, like I said about the Chelsea-Bournemouth game, this is not, like 2-0 is not reflective necessarily.
Yes.
I think probably like a 2-1, even a draw. But again, this was at St. James Park, so like shout out Arsenal that got a result. That's like really good. Obviously, they needed it.
Yep.
But I agree. You kind of got. I would say a big 7, but I don't know if you could count Chelsea and Spurs, and even us. To be fair, like.
No, I think
at this moment
you're gonna see the introduction of Big 7 talk for sure, just because of the money. The money is undeniable. And then I think what's really fun is the Premier League turns into college basketball. And you got Brentford, and you got Brighton, and you got Villa, and hopefully Wolves again. And those are your mid-majors that, man, you're hoping that you're rolling into Forest instead of Wolves just because that game's not going to be easy next year. It's just always going to be tough.
Well, that's the thing. I think, like, what would you equate Brentford to? Like a Xavier?
Xavier, I honestly, like, I think they need to get into Europe to become Gonzaga. Any of those teams need to get into Europe for me to consider them Gonzaga.
Mm-hmm.
St. Mary's, same conference as Gonzaga. Xavier is a good one.
Like VCU?
VCU.
A couple years ago?
Yeah. George Mason, many years ago.
Yeah.
So yeah, mid-major talk. We're back.
I love that.
Always,
because
always,
that's what makes college basketball so fun.
Yeah, those little shitty Catholic schools.
Yeah, I guess that's the way I'd put it.
Fulham 5, Leicester 3. Michael, this is not good for Leicester.
Not good for Barb. I did not know the thing about the players or the fans saying that to the players. That's pretty wild.
Yeah.
But I mean, what the fuck has happened to them?
I don't know. I mean, they're down 3-0 at half. I think it's a fair reaction by the fans. I watched a YouTube creator that I watched that does FM 2 weeks ago, and he compared the atmosphere of a Leicester match to the atmosphere of an MLS game. And he came to New York and actually was watching NYCFC at Citi Field. not the best American setup. We're playing in a baseball stadium, right? But he said that it was light years better than what's going on at Leicester right now, and that's Premier League. He says it's dead. It is a funeral when you're in there. It is tough. It's, so take that for what it is.
I mean, their schedule, I think they have of those bottom teams, they have a pretty decent schedule the rest of the way. But they need like one win.
They got Newcastle, and they got West Ham.
Oh, I lied.
Yeah, that's not good.
They got one game they could probably win. Actually, you know what? I shouldn't say that because they'll fucking beat us. Like,
that's not good, Bob. That's not good, Barb.
Yeah, that's bad. That's bad both ways.
Yeah. Big win, Fulham. 5 goals without Mitro. Insane.
Maybe they don't need him.
Maybe they're better without him. You know how that is with Holland and City. Forest 4,
yeah.
Southampton 3.
Great argument.
Yeah, for sure. Forest 4, Southampton 3. We mentioned it before. Stick a fork in them, baby. Southampton's done. It's over.
I've decided not to troll you, Dylan, but to troll you. I will be finding a clearance Morgan Gibbs white jersey, and I will be purchasing it.
Is it a bigger troll to give him one that's a Forest one or a Wolves one?
I think you get him a Sheffield United one when they loaned him out.
Oh,
when he got him almost promoted or whatever.
The greasy chip buddy is back. Actually, they are going to be back. Burnley and Sheffield back in the Premier League next year. How you feel about that?
Just need Luton. The Burnley will be fun. Like, Burnley will be sick. I think Sheffield United's like pretty sick too.
Yeah, I mean,
but I do have a Sheffield United jersey that you guys got me in honor of fucking what's his name?
You always forget his name.
I do.
Chris Wilder.
Yeah, that's what it is. Chris Wilder.
Yeah. Pump for Burnley. Pump for Sheffield. I love the Sheffield fans. They're actually pretty sick. I think if NAFTA podcast is nothing if not a pro Luton Town podcast.
Oh yeah.
I want to see that little ass stadium in the Prem. I know they won't, but I want to see it.
It's funny though because we were like hardcore pro Nottingham Forest as well, and now like we're kind of like 50-50. Like, send them fucking down. Like, get them out of here.
1,000%. Look, what is it? It's May. Our infatuation and our love affair for these teams probably starts April-ish, and then it's exhausted by October.
Once they beat one of us, we're done with them.
Yeah, exactly. Then it's just bad news. I mean, Brentford was very similar. We still like Brentford. Not a good example.
Brentford is too cool.
Yeah, Brentford too Moneyball. Like,
yeah.
Just like it too much, too unique. Real quick before we transition to the other games. Your bottom 3, Southampton, Leeds, Leicester, Everton in 17, Forest in 16. How you finishing them?
I think Leicester and Leeds both have West Ham. I think one of them gets a win. And I'm still sticking with I need Everton to go down. I need it to happen.
Wild. I think it's Leicester, Leeds, Southampton. That's how it finishes. Games we're going to talk a little bit more about. Brighton 1. Everton 5. What the fuck happened?
Perfect segue from...
Decore, what was it, 32 seconds or 42 seconds, somewhere around there, he got the first goal.
Yeah.
Decore again in the 29th, 2-0 Everton. Jason Steele, who just sounds like a Bond villain or a bad action franchise main character. Own goal for Brighton. It was 3-0 before half. Dwight McNeil gets another one in the 76th minute. Alex McAllister got one back in the 79th, but then Dwight McNeil just totally tap danced on the grave of the Seagulls in this one. 6 minutes left in stoppage time. 5-1. First things first that came to my mind. Brother, we mentioned it about Villa and Brentford probably not making Europe, but that shit is not guaranteed, and Brighton better not fuck this up.
Yeah, dude. I want to not the head gambler here, but I did have a nice little just home team money line. Yeah. Fulham, Forest, Brighton. the two longest legs hit, and the fucking Brighton can't beat goddamn Everton at home. It made me hate them for a second. But dude, sometimes you're just going to have like crazy results like that. I don't know how to explain it. Everton are not better than Brighton. As a Liverpool fan, obviously, like, fuck Everton, but, like, an Everton fan will tell you they're not better than Brighton. They got a result, but, like, whatever. I don't know how to describe it.
They were on the day, but like you said, like we just said, you know, if Brighton wants to play in Europe, they got to figure this out. They got Arsenal next, then they got Newcastle, then they host Southampton, they host Man City, and then last game of this year, they got Unai, and they got Villa at Villa. Winner of that could end up Conference League.
Yeah.
But they're in the driver's seat. They got 2 games in hand. Like they're cutting it close here.
Are we, if they win out games in hand, are we tied? Or are we still ahead?
Yeah, you guys are ahead by 1.
Okay. So that's why you were saying kind of good for you. Like, they still had, Arsenal, Newcastle, and City. They're not taking 9 points from those, so I wasn't worried. But, I mean, want them to beat Newcastle. Whoever Newcastle play, I want them to lose, just to up our chances of getting in the top 5. And then, obviously, the next team we're going to talk about, I want them to lose too.
Yeah.
That would be the most ideal. Holy shit.
Yeah. I think another little fun stat here.
I love fun stats.
Everton have scored 32 goals this whole season.
Yeah.
5 of them in 1 game.
Yeah, it's true.
Just wild. Just absolute wild. Absolutely
they scored
wild.
just under a seventh of all their goals in 1 game.
Yeah. I think they're up. I think they stay up after this. I know that you're holding on hope, but I think they stay up after this.
They still got Bournemouth, Wolves away, but this is Brighton away. Like, you'd never think they're winning this, so I don't know. And Wolves are basically on the beach now.
They're hosting City too.
They won't win that one. They will not win that one.
They already took points from City.
Nope, they won't win.
City didn't sub anyone.
They won't win.
I'm not saying to have hope, Hank, but maybe. You never know.
Hank, lose hope.
You never know, man.
I'm sorry. That's me. That sounds terrible. Don't do that.
Talk about a team that you want to lose hope here. West Ham won. Man United no. Ben Rama in the 27th minute is the lone goal in the match. West Ham take all 3 points. If I want to spend some time on that Ben Rama goal, David De Gea.
Oh my god.
Yikes.
Did you see his mixtape I sent you?
Yeah. Oh. It's so funny because I'm watching it and I know that it's not just Nick, and I'm not aiming this at Nick. A lot of people who defend De Gea are like, he's a great shot stopper. Brother, do I got a video for you?
Oh my god. It's like the same mistake too.
Yeah. It's almost like he has paper hands sometimes. It's weird.
It's like
Makes no sense.
It's like sometimes his hands are like a doggy door.
Yeah. Like it slows things down.
Yeah, but
keep
it doesn't
going.
stop him. Yeah.
And it's almost like there's no change in the direction either. It's like it just slows it down. It's going to continue going straight, but it just slows it down. And the goal is just more painful that he gives up, because then it's just like, holy shit, I get to watch this in slow motion, essentially.
Yeah. It actually, you make a good point, because some of those, like the Benrahma one, it's actually insane that it doesn't change direction more.
Yeah.
How much like hand he should get on it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Which is pretty funny.
Moisey gets one back on his former club. Love that for him.
Hey, I wanna say, I don't know who else did, so this is not like a I'm smarter than everybody else thing, but I'm smarter than anybody else who fucking said sack him, because I was the one saying you keep him on. He's your fucking guy. He'll figure it out. They're playing a lot of games. Now they can basically just focus on that Conference League shit and try to win.
But so I don't want to make this a Whitaker love fest, but there's 2 things in this pod that I realized that you were right about. Moyes, 1.
Mm-hmm.
2, I think from the beginning you've said Brighton's the team getting in Europe. Out of like Brighton, Fulham, Brentford, and then Villa made that surge at the end. I feel like you were always Brighton.
Yeah, I want to say though, I think a lot of times you go to me first, and I think some people want to try to be different and pick other guys. If we all just sit there and go Brighton, like we can't just Argentina it, you know.
We could.
Throwback, we all got that right.
Absolutely. I mean, we know ball. Do you want me to go through the stats again?
You haters. Also, shout out to another guy who knows ball. Shout out James Morley on TikTok, the Liverpool guy that always is right about everything he says. He says we're in 4th. So we're in 4th. We're getting 4th. And Nick said it too.
Well, before I get into that, Premier League remaining schedule for West Ham is Brentford, it's Leeds, it's Leicester. They're good. They're in. They're safe.
Do you think they want to like help? Oh, they're safe. Yeah, they're fine. Do you think there's a team they want to help specifically? They'll be like Leicester. Come on, like, you know, you've been here forever, like us. Let's keep.
No, I think it's the opposite. I think on the schedule, if they're going to give up to anyone, it might be Leeds.
You think so?
Yeah. I think both those fans. Nothing against Leicester fans. I only know one, but both of those fan groups.
She's great.
Yeah, she's amazing. Both those fan groups have more in common from an outsider looking in, never meeting any of them. Like I think the Leeds fans that I've seen documentaries and whatever on, and like, you know, in my mind, I'm like, yo, if I had to do this whole journey again and pick a team, I'd want it to be more of that kind of fan base. Man City fan base is amazing, but and I think West Ham's the same. I find it really interesting, like the bowling ground type stuff, being in the London Stadium, how that's actually affected them a lot. How I feel like the bubbles would be even more ferocious and vicious if this stadium was smaller. You know?
Yeah.
Alternate universe type shit. I am rooting for them in the Conference League for sure.
I'm not, because Fiorentina's in there, but...
True. But I am. They got AZ Alkmaar coming up. Who's Fiorentina got? Who's the other side of the bracket?
Great question. Is it
good
Ghent?
Thing?
No, they lost to West Ham. Ghent lost to West Ham. It is Basel.
Ooh. 2, it is the most solid derby.
Yeah, it is.
Shout out to that.
For his honor.
All right, let's go on the other side of the ball. Man United. They are currently in 4th. They look like they had Champions League wrapped up all season. Ten Hag looked like maybe a top 5 coach in the league all season. They look like Casemiro was the best January signing.
Ever.
Not ever. I mean, come on.
Okay, sorry.
Yeah. What's going wrong? They have the best one-on-one defender.
I want to say, listen, I think they said it early. Ten Hag said it. It was the end of the Klopp era early this season, the start of the Ten Hag era. Unfortunately, now it's just the end of the Ten Hag era already. I mean, one era started, the other ended, and the difference is a point right now. I mean, it's pretty crazy. Listen, Arsenal has made a massive jump to compete for the Prem. This is a year. This is a year where Spurs, bad. Chelsea, horrible.
Yep.
You have Newcastle, who's playing really good, or really well, that didn't before. Us, I mean, for a long stretch of the season, awful. And they still might not get it.
Yeah.
That's really bad. If they fall out, it's worse than Arsenal bottling the league, for sure, in my opinion.
If they fall out of Champions League, what do you think the reaction will be? I think that everyone at this podcast, if we're not being trolls right now.
I'm not trolling, Nick, I promise.
Everyone at this podcast does think Ten Hag's a pretty good coach.
He's the best coach you guys have had in the last, 4 years?
They can't, if they fall out, there cannot be repercussions, I don't think.
Like, to Ten Hag?
Yeah, I can't do it. Who are they gonna find, dude?
No, there's no way. He's
good.
like Klopp for us at this moment.
Yes.
Not
Okay.
like with the same clout from years and years and years, but they're committed to him. But what I'm saying too, like Arsenal's massive jump, that's not happening soon for United. Like that level of they're going to compete soon. It's 3-4 years away, easy.
I'll play devil's advocate. I think, and to be honest, we all like each other at this podcast, and we all have the ability to mess with each other for sure. I think, like, Nick knows that most of the time when we're making fun of United, we're just messing with him. He's a very realistic fan.
Yeah, for sure.
When we do the previews for these teams this summer, like we did last summer, we need to have him on because he'll actually give the answers that I think are correct. But I think that argument that you just had is totally turned around if Harry Kane goes there.
Yeah, but I don't. I don't think that because does Harry Kane make or is the bulk of United's team with Harry Kane that insanely better than Spurs right now?
I think so. I don't know if insanely better is the right word. They're better. They are better.
I think they're cut from the same cloth.
So you
I think
trading...
Fernandes is your next best player. Then it probably Rashford, Son. I still think Kulusevski is really good. Casemiro. I mean, dude, Casemiro.
He's been terrible this year.
He has not been good this year. But they haven't been good this year either.
Yeah.
Like as a whole, they don't have a defense. I mean, dude, like Varane's not gonna be there. He's not gonna be the guy. He gets hurt way too much. He's getting old. Casemiro's getting he's 31. He's gonna start to decline unless he doesn't, which again is fine. But you're gonna have to find a new goalkeeper, man.
Yeah, I think that you might be right in the sense that the people that are gonna patch over some of these holes are old. Like Harry Kane's not young. They don't have much youth. I think Casemiro probably has a few good years left, but it's been proven that if he's the main person in that midfield with Fernandes, like I think Eriksen's kind of done. I don't know. We all love Eriksen. Great story. Glad that he's back. But the midfield doesn't intimidate me at all. And now we're not even talking about the worst part of the team, which has been the back four and the center back situation. And
no depth.
Brother, if we're rolling into this FA Cup championship game with Luke Shaw, center back,
he's been good too. Like I don't want to take it away from Luke Shaw, but nah, man.
Is Vic Lindelof stopping Haaland?
No, dude. That's not, but again, like
we also lost to them this year. I understand that, but still.
But think about this too. You got who'd you start today against Real Madrid? Kyle Walker. Ruben Diaz, Akanji. You put John Stones a center back, or a right back, left back in the midfield. You had Nathan Ake on the fucking bench, who's had a great year.
He's hurt, but yeah.
Oh, okay. But he's hurt. Yeah. So he's hurt. Is Lindelof better than any of those guys?
No.
Any single one of them?
No.
Is Luke Shaw as a center back better than any of them?
No.
Harry Maguire, don't even have to answer.
Harry Maguire?
I don't think Varane at his prime, he's probably better than probably all of them, you could say.
Yeah.
But he hasn't been better than Ruben Diaz past couple of years, hasn't been better than Laporte, hasn't been better than Stones.
I think
Akanji and Ake are both younger.
I think Nick will tell you if they get Harry Kane, they're going to compete for top four again. But until that club is sold, until there's new owners, until there's a new vision, they're not going to invest. They're not going to buy what they need to buy. They're not going to actually make the strides they need to. And I tried to play devil's advocate, and then you undeviled me.
Think about this. Gabriel, I think at Arsenal, is a good center back. Okay? Saliba, I think, is a really good center back, and they're both young.
Yep.
We're shitting on Rob Holding, who definitely is not good enough, but he's like, in my opinion, he's like a Lindelof quality center back.
Yep.
Okay. They throw in Kuior last game, and he was unreal. He's 23 years old.
Yeah.
Like that's not happening at United right now. They're not getting youth talent or like an influx of youth. I'm sure they have like talented youth players, but like you don't put Harry Kane on that team and then all of a sudden they're like, okay, we're gonna compete. Like they need more people.
For sure. All right, give me the answer. Put your line in the sand. Make your bold prediction.
I've been saying no this whole time, and it's been going pretty well. And as you know, I'm not a superstitious person, so fuck it. We're gonna get fourth.
Yeah, Michael's not even a little stitious.
Not even a tiny bit.
Stitious. All right. Any last things you want to chat about before I have to Google search a joke and get us out of here?
I did see a TikTok today. I think I only saw 2 parts of it, but it's 4 players or 4 characters. Who do you think? I don't know how true this is. This is just a TikTok account that I saw this on. But who do you think? We're Ted Lasso guys here. We think it's a good show. Do you not like it?
I think it's corny as fuck.
Dude, I think you're missing the forest of the tree here.
No, I think if you want what you're looking for, you go watch Shrinking.
I heard that's also very good. Also, the guy who plays Roy Kent writes on that as well.
He did a better job this time.
I saw that, and it actually looks very exciting to me. Like, I want to watch it. But
it's great.
We are a soccer podcast. We're not a therapy session. So, Jamie Tart, who do you think the character is based on?
I think they said Ronaldo, right?
Nope.
Who?
According to this TikTok, it's Jack Grealish.
Oh, for real?
Roy Kent, who do you think he's based on? According to this TikTok.
Yeah. I'm not gonna get this one.
There's one you'll get for sure.
The Zava
have you? Yeah,
I haven't watched the new one, but I know there's a guy named Zava who's Zlatan.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Roy Kent apparently is based on Roy Keane.
Okay.
And
Tracks.
then Ted Lasso, who do you think he's based on?
Jesse Marsh.
Jurgen Klopp.
Get the fuck out of here.
I don't buy that one.
Well, no.
I think he's like a player's guy, but they like the personality is like not the same.
Jurgen Klopp definitely doesn't know how to bake.
Yeah, and Ted Lasso doesn't know how to gegenpress, so.
No, they're not pressing at all.
No.
Klopp would have never gotten relegated.
I think he did get relegated though, didn't he?
Yeah, but he would have never.
Yeah, I don't know, maybe.
Well,
that's all I had. I just thought that was kind of funny. The Jamie Tart Grealish one has to be strictly like visual, right?
Yeah, because I've seen different ones where, he is Ronaldo, which I also didn't really get.
Yeah.
Who if you had to compare the Mexican guy?
Danny Rojas?
Yeah.
Um
Who's just a fun-loving, like happy to be here?
Miguel Almiron.
Yeah, I think Big Migs.
He just
Little
always
Migs.
like
Yeah. Sid from Toy Story.
He's cool.
What's his name? Sammy Amiobi?
Obasanya.
Is that his name? Sammy Obasanya?
Obasanya or something. I think that's what it is. I mean, I don't even know what position he plays really. I thought he was like a defender at one point.
No, but I think he's Rashford. The one episode he makes a stand, puts tape over his jersey.
Oh yeah, I think you could do that for sure.
Which you and I both love. Rashford, hate that he's
40?
on United.
40?
Big Fords.
Big Fords. I'm trying to think of other big players. The one I hey, actually, now that we're bringing this up, and I don't know if this is like getting into like not interesting things anymore. We were both the new season when they're talking about like all the Premier League teams and they beat so and so or they lost to this team, whatever. I have not heard Liverpool at all. I don't think they're in it. They're not in the like the top. They showed like the top 8 at one point. The table. They're not in it at all. I don't think Liverpool gave them like the clearance to do it, which kind of sucks. But I also don't know like how that all shaked out.
It's weird because they're American owners. You'd figure every American owner
probably
would have been in there.
Maybe it is based on Klopp. Maybe Richmond is just Liverpool.
So I got a joke. I found it on a old Liverpool thread.
Fuck.
It's gonna be the butt of one of the guys we like. Got a big win over the weekend, but the joke goes as is. David Moyes goes to help an old lady who's taken a fall. He asks, "Can you manage?" She says, "Fuck off, I don't want the job." Cheers.
The NAFTA podcast.
Sometimes maybe good, sometimes maybe shit.